What's going on, guys? Tails86 here with Weekly Review, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Gameboy Advance classic Sonic Advance. Now this game came out back in 2002 for the Gameboy Advance, but we're going to be playing on the Game Boy player on the GameCube. So guys, hope you enjoy the review. So guys, this is Sonic Advance for the Game Boy Advance that came back out in 2002 from Sega and THQ. Now, let's go ahead and start over the menu and basically show off how the game is. You can always just start your game. You have a versus mode with the multi-pack for Game Boy Advance if you still have those link cables. You have a time attack, you have your options, and then you have your tiny Chow Garden. So let's go ahead and start off the game. So just like in any Sonic game, or at least in this one, you have a choice to be able to choose against 4 different characters: Sonic the Hedgehog, Miles Tails Prower, Knuckles the Echidna, and Amy Rose. Now each of them have certain abilities that others don't have, like Tails can swim underwater, Knuckles can also, but he cannot swim straight up. He basically just kind of swims up on the very top of it. And then Amy cannot swim, and she also cannot roll. Like, she can't do a spin dash or anything like that, unless she's in like a really tight spot and she'll, yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and show off some play with Sonic. So this is basically how Sonic Advance looks on the Game Boy Advance. Now, despite the small thing that I'm pretty sure everybody is going to mention, now even though this is on a portable game system, this is actually one of the best portable Sonics that I've played since the Game Gear Sonic games. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all remember those, and that was beautiful. What a beautiful way to start off the game. Now you have 2 different difficulties you can choose with this. You can choose on normal mode, which you start off with at first, and then you can switch to the easy mode. Now you have your basic things that you'll find everywhere, like these springs that I keep bouncing off and I keep missing all the time. And this kind of is like a casino pinball world, but you have all different types of worlds you can go through in 2 different stages each. You have about 11 stages that you can go through all together, including a final boss. And it's basically just like the old style Sonic, where you had to go in and save all the animals that are trapped in Dr. Eggman / Robotnik's evil robot machines. And you can use many different types of things to help you get up to higher spots, like these flags, for instance, that you just saw me getting on. And move out of my way. You can use these flippers to get up to other higher portions. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Acting like Quagmire. Whoa, whoa! Alright. No, it's not alright. I'm getting dizzy. And then basically, like every Sonic game, when you get 100 rings, you gain a 1-up, which I'm pretty sure we're not going to get on this run. We'll find out though. Don't think I will. Oh, I did, just barely. And then of course it'll tally up your time bonus and ring bonus, telling you that you got through Act 1. So now let's show off a boss battle against Robotnik. And basically, this one's pretty easy. You just have to avoid this other thing and just hit him. Of course, these are the easier portions of the stages. They get a little bit harder, especially when you go off in Metal Sonic, go against him with Supersonic form. They're not excruciatingly hard, but it still reminds you of the older style Sonic games, even though they have a few other things added into it that they normally didn't have. And that's funny, he got killed off screen. Let's save our friends and let's end the stage. So here we have Tails now underwater, and this is one of the characters I was saying before that can swim. You can use either him or Knuckles to be able to swim underwater, and of course Sonic can't because he just doesn't like water. He's not a fan of water at all. Now Tails can also fly. He can fly a lot better in this version and in Sonic 2 or Sonic Advance 2 than he can in Sonic Advance 3, and I'll tell y'all that when I do the review for Sonic Advance 3, which is a completely different review. But the thing I also like about this game that sets it apart from other Sonic games is even though they added other features that a lot of other Sonic games never had, it still keeps it old school enough for even the older style players, but also still keeps it interesting for the new players that have never played a Sonic game before. Okay, so guys, now that we've shown off the game, let's go ahead and show off a couple of the other features, including the Tiny Chow Garden. Now, the Tiny Chow Garden is actually pretty cool. If you have a Game Boy link cable, you could actually go ahead and have your Chow compete against another Chow in extra mini games and as well as other things. But the way you have to go ahead and get your Tiny Chow to be stronger is to feed him. And as you play the game, as you can see right here on the very bottom, I have 2,410 rings. I can use these rings to purchase food for my Chow if he's hungry. As you can see, he's watching TV right now, and I got some grass that I need to pull up. And he can also play on his trumpet. Very good. Oh, he's so happy. I did that too well. Anyway, let's go ahead and buy him some food and see if he'll eat it. He probably won't though, because he's still pretty full. Nope, he will. But as he eats it, you will see red markers starting to go up, and you'll see that you'll gain a certain level for certain foods. Certain ones will give him certain power-ups as well for swimming. He can fly better, he can run better, he'll have more power, or he'll have more stamina. So each one of these fruits is completely different. So now let's go and show off some of the mini games. This is basically one that's pretty easy to play. You just tag with the different elements. So basically with green we'd match with red or pink. I can't tell what these colors are sometimes. Some of these look like they're so different colored on a Game Boy player than they normally would be. But basically, it's very, very simple to play. You just got to match them up like hand. You can pair hand with hand or fist with fist. Or you can pair... It's basically like a game of rock, paper, scissors. And as you can see, I'm doing really bad on it, But as you play it more and more, you'll get better at it and be able to unlock even more rings to use to buy more food for your Chow. Now, don't give him too much big food. If he eats a lot of big food, he loses his mood, and he just doesn't like big food. But certain Chows are different. So, anyway, let's go ahead and head off and show off some more gameplay. Of course, also not forgetting that you can also link them up with the Nintendo GameCube version of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and as well as Sonic Adventure Director's Cut. Now also, if you had a copy of Sonic Pinball Party, you could also go ahead and link that up to the Tiny Chow Garden and get an exclusive content that you normally wouldn't be able to get in the game. Now every so often you'll come across these little springs. If you want to be able to get to the special stages, you need to jump onto them, which will launch you into the special stage. Now these are pretty cool though. Even though they're not exactly like how the original special stages are, they're still pretty awesome. You have to get 70 rings on this one, so let's see how we do. Of course, avoiding all these bombs all over the place as well. I messed up doing on that technique. If you go ahead and use the B button on, of course, using the GameCube controller, you can actually be able to do a very special technique to earn you even more rings. That'll go ahead and tell you like cool technique and everything. So we got a cool there, so now we only need 140 rings to get the emerald. So let's see how we do on this one. I'm going to try to do that technique this time without screwing up. Now also you'll find those little springs. Here we go. Oh no, I messed up again. But anyway, You basically have to do an extra technique if you wanted to get some extra rings, and we already got the emerald now, because there's no way we're messing up after this. But then once you get the amount of rings, it'll tell you cool one more time, then you'll get the emerald. And of course tallying up your score, and as well as any clear bonuses and continues that you'll earn in the game. And so I got 2 continues, and as you can see I have already gotten all the emeralds in the game. So, but basically guys, that is Sonic Advance, basically in a nutshell. It is a very great game. It's not the absolute best Sonic game ever made, but it is a very fun one. And I recommend it to any person who wants to have a really great game that's not only portable, and that's not only a really great Sonic game, but I mean, it's a really great game, and it deserves to be played by any person that's a huge fan of Sonic. So if you want something fun for a very low price, if you want to try to even find this used, which I'm pretty sure you can find for very cheap nowadays, I definitely recommend you getting it. So guys, Sonic Advance is getting a 9 out of 10 because it is one of those games that no matter how many times, even if you beat it over and over again, it is just as enjoyable as the first time you played a Sonic game. Not as memorable as the very first 3 games, but still a fun game to play. So guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been Wii-kly Review. Take care. Later.